Good morning, students. My name is Zarifova Shakerjan, and I'm again with you. Our today's topic is bilingualism, and the subject is the integrated study skills in teaching foreign languages. If you are ready, let's start. So, what is bilingualism? At first, let's answer the question. So, as you see, it's a proficiency in two or more languages. So, as you see, bilingualism means like talking in more than one language. It may be two or more than two. So, bilingualism, I really want you to know the difference between like bilingualism and knowing foreign languages. So if you know the language in a same level, it means in a same, if you are fluent in both languages, it means bilingualism. So bilingualism is evident in reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And as you see, it is a proven fact that 50% of the world's population is bilingual people. So as you see, it is high numbers, I guess. And who are bilingual children? Let's start from the children, and after that we'll go to adult and elderly people. It is a person, so as I mentioned, who fully fluent in two languages. So maybe from his or her childhood, she or he speaks in both languages. Maybe it's because of the children parents. Maybe father from Uzbekistan and mother from Russian, so that the children in this family grows as a bilingual child. So children can acquire two languages at the same time in early childhood and be proficient in both. So it is the same. It is really good when you acquire two languages when you are a child. So I think that only in this case it will be effective, I guess. So children may also learn the second language after mastering the first to become bilingual, but I think that it depends on the person. So for example, imagine that till the age of 10 or 8 you will live in one country, and after that you will remove to another, and you will have your rest of your life in another countries. Only in this case you may become a bilingual person. It's rare for proficiency in both languages to be perfectly balanced in the child. So as you see, unfortunately it's a rare case when child speaks in two languages at the same level. So again, it depends on the place where the child lives, and it regards his or her surrounding people. So for example, imagine that child is bilingual, and he knows Russian and Uzbek, but he lives in Uzbekistan. If the child lives in Uzbekistan, he acquires automatically Uzbek language, like maybe for 60%, and the rest 40% he acquires Russian language, because he is surrounded by people who speak in Uzbek language all the time. Say in the market, in a kindergarten, anywhere, at street, his friends, maybe the people who speak Uzbek language. So that it depends on the place where the people live. So now we will look through the concepts related to bilingualism. At first I will read the statements, and after that we will discuss them. Consecutive versus simultaneous bilingualism, early versus late, balanced against dominant, and additive versus subtractive, and the last one is elite versus folk bilingualism. We will see what are they. Consecutive versus simultaneous. So in a consecutive or successive bilingualism, learning one language after already knowing another. So as you see, consecutive language, acquiring a new language after finishing to learn another one. So simultaneous bilingualism, it is a learning two languages as a first language. So simultaneous, as it's obvious from its name, you will acquire the languages at the same time. So that is a person who is a simultaneous bilingualism goes from speaking no languages at all directly to speaking in two languages. So infants who are exposed to two languages from birth will become simultaneous bilinguals. So as you see, the period of learning or the period of being bilingual people, it starts from childhood, even starts from birth. So receptive bilingual, we also have the people who are receptive bilingual, so they are able to understand two languages but express one in only one language. So I do believe that in our country we have majority of receptive bilinguals. Yeah? So for example, if I speak Russian language at home, my mother all the time says, I can understand you, I understand you, but I cannot answer. So it means that she's a receptive bilingual person. And then, so as you see, most bilinguals are consecutive. So it means that at first they acquire a language, their first language, and only after that they will try to acquire another one. And then, studies have shown that features of language first can have a powerful influence on language second. So the transfer in language first can be positive or negative. So we spoke about it a lot of times. Yeah? So what is transfer? You know it. So which kind of positive and negative effects it may have. You also know it because we have the topic transfer or generalization. Yeah. So you can watch it if you want. So simultaneous, it's a balanced learning in both languages, in the first and second languages at the same time. Studies examining two simultaneous bilinguals are rare. So as you see by the research of people, so the simultaneous bilinguals are the few percent of the world. So brain imaging studies show a spread in activation across left and right hemispheres. Let's continue. So here, early versus late bilinguals. So when you are in your early ages, the bilinguals exposure has a significant impact on multiple aspects of a child's development. So as early you start being a bilingual person, you will acquire a language much. Yeah? So you will be developed in a linguistic, cognitive, and reading spheres. So children who experience early and extensive exposure to both of their languages quickly grasp the fundamentals of both of their languages. So as you see, if you start learning the languages from your childhood, even you can start speaking in both languages at the same time, it will be much more effective. So, categorizing bilingual acquisition by the age at which the two languages are acquired. So, early versus late bilinguals are started from infants, and that will continue with child, adolescent, and adult. So, infant, it is a bilingual person who acquired the language being a child. So, infant is a simultaneous language learner. Sometimes the results from having parents who have different native languages but also speak the other parent's language. So as you say, I really want to recommend or maybe advise, take it an advice. If you will have in the future a bilingual family, so for example, you are Uzbek and you will have husband from, okay, let's say Russia. Never confuse your child, please. After he was born, like never confuse him or her. So if you use from the first days of your child Uzbek language, use it till the end, and never use like Russian words to your child, because your husband will do it, I guess. So you should like identify, I will speak only in Uzbek language to my child, and you will speak in English language. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. You will speak in Russian language. So only in this case, like being simultaneous bilingual is much more productive. And then child is a person, is a bilingual person acquiring like to start quite early in life, but involves the successive acquisition of two languages, as do adolescent and adult bilingualism. So as you see, even at the age of like 4 or 5, maybe 6, you may start learning another language. So the reason for this may be like to move to another country, as I mentioned, maybe because of because of child's parents' work, they have to remove to another country, maybe because of other reasons, so that the child becomes a bilingual person as time passes. And then adolescent bilingual acquisition refers to the acquisition of a second language after puberty. So as you see, after acquiring the first language fully, you will start being bilingual in second language. So it refers to acquisition after the teen years. And early learners of a second language can speak it like a native speaker. Late and the older, it means like older learners, make faster progress in acquiring morphosyntactic and semantic aspects of a second language, because as you see, when you are a child, you can acquire all the things without knowing the grammar rules, without knowing the structure of the language, and you don't think about it. But when you get older, you will like improve your skills on semantic aspects and morphosyntactic aspects in a second language. And then we will continue with balanced versus dominant bilinguals. So balanced bilinguals means it's really similar to simultaneous bilinguals, because in a balanced bilingualism, people master two languages in an equal way. So dominant bilingual means like knowing one language more than the others. Yeah? So someone with greater proficiency in one of his or her languages and uses it significantly more than the other language. So as you see, in a dominant bilingualism, it's a person who uses his one language more than the other one. So again, it depends on the surrounding people, as I mentioned. So if you are in Uzbekistan and if you go to supermarket, so you will not use your Russian, so that you will try to use your Uzbek language. So semilingual means someone with insufficient knowledge of either language. So semilingual, it is something negative, because in semilingualism you cannot acquire both languages deeply. Yeah? Maybe acquire it 30 or like 40%, both of them. So you can understand it, but you cannot give response. So it may happen in most cases. I think that it is enough for today, and next time we will continue our theme. Thank you for being with me. Goodbye. See you soon.